I am Lizzy with Long Distance Gamers, and today I'm going to be doing a solo playthrough of Stonewall Uprising, the fight for civil rights. So this is normally a 1 or 2 player game. I'm going to be playing the solo version, so I'm going to be playing against the man. Usually you are one player is the man, where you're against progress, while one player plays pride, which is for progress. So there are some notes in here about the history behind the game, like for the 60s, 70s, and 80s, because we're playing in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And then also big note on why some of the cards say gay instead of the pre-Stonewall, which was homophiles. So, but in modern day, we use, LGBTQI+, or the full one as of right now, which is when he was writing it in 2022. LGBTQIP2SAA. So it goes into why they're using the terms they use instead of using the specific time. They use it so that people can understand it. So terms that we use today, as of recording this at least. But I will be playing as Pride. We'll be having a few different tracks. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Go over a little bit of how the game works. And then we'll go ahead and get started. You can see how it plays. Hopefully see if it's a good fit for you or not. And then go from there. You start off by grabbing 5 cards that have various things that refer to the various tracks. Over here we have, there's A, B, C, D, E, and F, which you can organize them by the one right there. And then it will show what the cost is. So, or show you what they cost. Like the cost is 2 in A, and it'll show 60s, 70s, and 80s. 80s go on the bottom, then 70s, then 60s, and it's organized like that for every pile. And then there's this event track, which gets triggered when it's full. It takes 3 for the 60s and then 4 or 5 for the 70s and the 80s. So as the game progresses, we have a couple stacks. We have our solo deck. We have some events that could happen. And then these tracks need to start in the starting. This will not get placed until the 80s, but we can move where it starts out at. So basically we're trying to get systematic support, public support, and individual supports. We're trying to move them to our areas and get specific things. We're trying to get this down. We're trying to get these into our area, not get people. They are trying to demoralize 10 people or get AIDS death up, I believe. Yeah. But anyways, we will go through this. We do start with family values being the first player. And that's going to get started. So we'll just flip over a card. So what it is, it says there's different things that happen in the different decades. Please excuse my pink screen. It is acting up. Okay, so it will tell you what one you can move. They are color coded and shapes. And they of course match the color coding and shapes over here. So we are in the 60s, so we follow the 60s. So we will move it up by 1 or over by 1 to theirs. And if this overtone marker is above 35 or more, they would get to move it an additional space. Thankfully, it starts on 30, so nothing happens there. So that's their 1 card. They will fold if they ever get 4 hands, which we'll go over that when that happens. Otherwise, it is my turn. So I might do something like play Frank Family. And mine has these cool little historical notes, so you could get to know the game a little bit. So this, I move that track over by 2. So I'll move this up by 2. So 1, 2. And if my public support, which doesn't have any placement right now, if it was on my side, which is the more pride side, then I would get to turn this down by 1. Meantime, we do that. Then it's their turn. So they just flip it over. So they're going to be taking back this a little bit. Just the one. If public opinion is on the man's side, so this is public support. I think that's the same thing. They would get to move it an additional space. Thankfully, it's not. So we move on. So we have 2 hands right now. And then I get to go. So I will go ahead and be like, okay, well, I'm going to try to get this up. So, Country Ride Organization, established in 1966, ERCO functioned as a monthly meeting group for LGBT groups in the era to coordinate eventually planning the first Pride Parade. That's kind of cool to know. So we move it over twice. If I could get it just one more space over at least, then I will be able to move this down. But we will see what the AI does. Okay, so they're going to be focusing on systematic support. So they're going to move it one more space over. If the overtone was 35 or more, again, they'd be moving it 1. They only have 3 hands, so it is my turn. So I might do something like play Del Martin and Phyllis Loyne. Which, if you want to read the historicalness, that's right there. But it is a green 2, so we will move it over here. So now because it's in this end zone, we do what it says. So move the overtone window down by X, which it is 3, so we move it by 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then, because we were over here, we get to fill up this event track. So what will happen is we will take one of our tokens. It can be either this man or the Pride, and we will just put it on the event track. In the 60s, we only need to fill it up 3. 70s and 80s is 5. And then this goes back to the starting space. So it will go right back there. Okay, and then it is their turn. So they're going to be folding this next turn. So they'll be moving this twice over. And they have 4 or more, so this next turn they will fold. So I can choose to move one of these if I fold. But if they fold, everything will be doubled. They'll just get another card. But we're not playing that. So, well, 1 second. How does this solo? Okay, so how that would work is they would just be playing cards before I get to do anything. So I could either fold, and then I know they will be folding next turn, so they wouldn't get a benefit, or I would be able to double my systematic support, but I wouldn't be able to play any cards or buy any cards. So if you have 1 or 2 cards, something special happens. But I'm going to go ahead and fold for now. I want to look to see which one of these I will play. So, or buy, because I only have 3, so I can only buy this cost 2. But, well, if individual support, that would help with individual support. So I would go ahead and move this up by 1, hoping to get some more individual support to be able to take that advantage of that. And then we know they will fold, so nothing happens other than they just are folding. So this just gets discarded to the actual discard. And then we have 3, so I can either buy Civil Disobedience, which helps me up in individual support, or I could do public support, which helps me with the overtone window, as well as, which that's a way I can win, is to get the overtone window down to 0. I believe that's how I win. That, or, yeah, I believe that's the only way I can win. Oh, or there's a dice that I can get once we get public support. So that might be something I want to think about, as I want to be able to get more of these. So maybe I'll just spend my 3 to buy this, cost 2. And because I use only 1 or 2 cards, it goes to the top of my deck instead of going to the discard like all the other cards. Okay. And then the man has folded. So the event track has not gone off. So we go ahead and restart another round. Which, during the round, it means initiative changes. So I go ahead and I am first player. So we will grab the first 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I already know one of them. I'll already have this card. I knew that. Okay, so I have some individual support and 1 of the systematic support. So, which this is the only one that has an ability, but individual support needs to be higher. So I might do something like play Harry Hay. Harry Hay was the founder of the Tashin Society. He fought against the assimilationists' idea of the early gay rights campaigners. So there we have that. So that does make it so that my individual support can move up by 1. Okay. Oh no! So we're in the 60s, so they're going to detain 2 people. So I think I'll just go ahead and let them detain these 2 people. These are the lowest in value as far as these go, and there's no special ability. So I'll go ahead and let them detain those 2. Oh, bye. Okay. Ouch. Which they can also win if they demoralize 10 people. So I don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to play this Jana Society, get my individual supports in the clear. And then... oh no! Okay, so it moves up 1. If they get it 1 more space, they're going to be detaining people. So I might actually want to jump and play this, but that's not a very much. So if the individual support was on the man side, they would have been able to move it up 2 more, so then they would have been detaining 2 people. Ouch, ouch, ouch! But I'm going to go ahead and play him. So Jose... oh, and I need to keep track. So they're going to be folding this next one. So that is good to know. Okay, so I'm going to play him, so I get to move the starting space for the public support over. So it will start over here. And then individual support is on my side, so we can move this down 1 time. Okay, and they will fold. So they will actually be moving their support over to here, because that's the one that is on the last card. And then it is my turn. So I can choose to play a card, or I could choose to go ahead and fold myself, and then I'll be able to buy 1 of these. But since they've already folded, I can play 1 and it will double its support. So I can go ahead and play Liberal Ideas, and it will double this, so it will move over twice. So that way I don't have to worry about that. However, that does mean they got that card. So they will be able to do a little bit more next turn. But yeah, but that's it for that. I only have 1, so I might as well... actually, no. Ooh, do I want to give them another card, or do I want to double? I think I'm just going to go ahead and double this, so that way I'll move over 2 more, because I'm going to need dice. But that does mean that they will get another card. So that means they're going to be going 3 times before me. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I do need to go ahead and shuffle. So... okay, and 5. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Okay, so these we will go ahead and discard. So they will be playing 2 cards, and then they will do their turn. So first things first. Uh-oh, they'll move this over 1. Okay. And then this one. If systematic support is on the man side, they will move it another 1. So it is. So they will actually be moving it 2. That was their second card. And now they will start their first turn of the game. Okay. So they will be moving it 2 more over to their side. So it's already on, all of this is on their side. So I'm in trouble. If the overtime window is at 30 or more, it would move over additional space. Thankfully, it is only at 26. Okay. Oh my goodness. So I could... do I have any special abilities on these? No. So I can go ahead and... see, this one would get them really demoralized. This one will just make it so that I lose cards. So I think I really need to do all 3 of these cards. For sure. Ooh, although this one, if I can save up 4, If public opinion is on my side, then I can undetain 3 people. Although public support does not start yet. So that might not be too handy. Although getting a 3 in here would become handy. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and play this one. Right to assembly. So I get to move it over 2 times, so hopefully they won't detain anymore. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so they're still going to be detaining 1 person, which that's the only one that they can. But I do know that they are going to be folding next time, and they're going to be pushing this 1 space towards theirs. So, with that said, if I fold, I could just move it over 1 space, and then I'd have 2, 3, 4, 5 money to spend, which means I could get a 4 or 2 2s. So, do I want to let them fold first, and then I could place, these to double it up, or do I want to wait. Oh my goodness. I want to spend some money. So you know what? I think I am going to fold, and I'm going to push this 1 space that way. And then they are going to fold. So then we can buy. So I have 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I think I might want her. I think I'm going to do the individual support, because that will make it so that I can move that down to 0, hopefully. And that would be better for me. Okay. And then we're going to, that did have to go into discard because I used 4 cards to get it, or 3 cards. I used more than 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are back to me being first player. Okay, so I have lots of public or individual support. And then I do have this one, which would play off my individual support being higher. Public support, which we don't have that yet. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to play Frank Kamini. I'm going to get individual support 2 over, so it's on my side. Okay, well, we have 2. Oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3. Pride may discard a card to ignore the above number. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do that. I'm going to discard this Kinsey reports. Alfred Kinsey is widely regarded as the first major figure in American sexology. Kinsey developed a scale measuring sexual orientation and is credited as the precursor to the sexual revolution. Okay, so I was able to discard that to make it so that they could not move it over. So it stayed right there, which is what I wanted. So now I can play individual or Jose, to get it to move over 2. And if individual support, which it is on my side, I can move this down by 1, which means that the man usually would have to get rid of a card. But what happens when I pass that in solo? Okay, normal rules is once it places here, the man has to go through, like, thin their deck. They have to get rid of a card. I don't know if anything specifically happens in solo play, so we'll just assume that it doesn't. So we shall just go ahead and move on. But I have played that, so then it is their turn. So they will be folding this next turn, and they'll be moving public supports. We already know that. So they'll be moving this 2 over to their side. And if it was 30 or more, they would move it an additional time. Okay, so they're going to be folding next time. Man. You know what? I think I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to play 1 additional card after them. So I'm going to move that over 1. Okay, and then they are folding, so that moves back to 1. However, it's my turn, so I can go ahead and do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, because it's doubled because they folded. So I get to move the overtone window down by 3, so 1, 2, 3. But they will be playing 1 additional card this next time. However, I made an event happen. Yes! So in the 60s, I know I'm going to get to play this event, whatever it might be, because I will have majority. Okay. So there is that. We flip this. It is now going to be their turn, so they're going to get 2 turns in a row, unfortunately. Roll this. Okay. 1, 2, 3 to get me up to my 5. So they're going to go. So they can go. So I can discard a card, though, to make it so that they won't be able to do that. I'll go ahead and discard Kinsey Reports so they won't be able to move it anymore. And then they get to go again. Shoot. So 1, 2, 3. So they're really close to detaining something. And this moves up by 1. Okay. So I have a couple of these. And then that individual supports again. But I am going to do this right to assembly. So I'm going to move this back towards me. So hopefully they will not be able to detain anyone. Okay. Then it's their turn again. Okay. So they're going to be folding after this. And they're going to be moving individual supports. Okay. So they're going to move this 1 more towards there. If individual support was on their side, it is not. Because it's actually on Pride. Surprisingly. They would get to move it 1 more space. And yep, they're done with that. So I know I'm going to be able to double everything that they do. They're going to be moving this over here. But I can move 1, 2, 3, 4 to get it really close to this overton. Or I can move this 1, 2, 3, 4. So I actually think I'm going to go ahead and play this one. Or do I want to do 2, 4, 6 and get one of these? Ooh. That is a value of 3 when buying. Move the. I think I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and stop. I'm going to move one of these up 1 more. So I'm going to go ahead and move. Let's move this one up by 1. Then I'll buy this one. Since I spent 3 cards, I do have to go ahead and put this into the discard pile. But that'll be nice when it comes. I'll be able to move it down by 2. Okay. And they don't do anything. It will be my turn first. So let's go ahead and grab up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I have, oh my goodness, I have lots and lots of individual support. Okay. So if I move it up by 2 and then by 3, so I can move it 2 and then 1, 2, 3, I'd be able to do 5. So we'll see if that's good. So we'll play that one, move it up by 2. Public support is on my side, which it's not even on there. Okay. Oh no, they're going to move it by 1. So I could move it up again by 1 and then do 3 to get it to move 5 down, which I think, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. Move it up again. You're not getting the better of me. No! Oh my goodness. And it's on their side, so they get to move it another space. No! Okay. I'm going to go ahead and play my 3. So, except then I can only move it 1. I'd rather be able to move it 3. So I would get 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's kind of, So I'll go ahead and move it up. No, I'll just do 1. Get it back up 1 space. And then this is going to move by 2. Oshka. I know they will be folding, and that will go to their 1 time. So with that said, I can move this up by 1, and then this will move over 1. And then I'll be able to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. Move this up by 1. They're going to fold, so this is going to go down by 1. And then I'm going to play this, which is a 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 because it's doubled, which means this goes down by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we are going to have an event at the end of this year, or at the end of this round, and that goes back to right there. They will get an additional card that they can play. And then we will go ahead and play the market phase. So I don't have anything, they don't have anything. And then what we do need to do is resolving the event track. Players with the most event flips an event card for the decade they are currently in and resolve it. So we clear these off. I get to grab a 60s, so this one won't be used at all. So this could get back in the box. We'll just put it there. So the Stonewall riots. Woot woot. So place 2 rebellion dice or retaliation dice, whoops, which these are these red ones, on up to 2 cards of the man's market. If they buy any of those cards, add the player dice to your pool. However, I am solo, so that doesn't happen. And then this decade, all bought cards go to the top of your deck. I'm not going to be buying anything. So I think they're really close to the systematic support. So I'm going to place both of these dice over to here. Let them get that, and then I'll be able to have dice to hopefully get this overtime window resolved pretty easily. Ideally. Okay, so we are done. So 1, 2, and I'm going to have to shuffle. Not looking forward to them being able to detain people, but that's okay. Hopefully I can get some 1s to play. And they will be going first, so they'll get 2 turns in a row. Not happy about that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Woot. Woot. So they will go ahead and play 1. Oh my goodness, they're going to be folding really fast. Okay. So they're going to be detaining X people. Which, what happens on detaining if there is no one to detain? Where is detaining? Okay, so it has to be from my discard pile. Detains from the right top. So they're going to be detaining this 1. My right to assembly. I don't think I have any more. So, but I do get this to go into my dice pool. So yay on that. So I have a 3. That resets. They do get to place 1 of these here. Owie. And then that was their first. So they will go again. And they're going to be folding after their next turn is going to be folding. So it's going to move over 1. If it was 35 or more, they would get to move it an additional space. So I might want to take advantage of this somehow. So I know they're folding. So all of mine are going to be doubled, which means this 3 is going to be doubled. So I'm going to go ahead and do this 2. Move it up by 2. Public support, which is not the 70s yet. Oh wait, no, it is the 70s now. Because then events happen, so we need to pull off the 60s. Okay, that's right. So these are no longer eligible to be bought at the end of the round. Okay. So we're in the 70s, so 1 more decade until this is placed down. Okay. But yeah, so that's what I did. I moved that over. And then this is moved over 1. If there was a 35... Oh, wait, no. So, crap. Hold on. I moved it over 3. So 1... Oh. 1, 2, 3. I'm not... So, that means I didn't have this one played yet. So it was here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I would have done, so I would have wanted it. So I still would have done that. So it would have made it up to here. Then they get to move it 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. If it's at 25 or more, they would get +1. But they are demoralized ex-detained people. So this is randomized. So they will go ahead and pull this out. And so they have demoralized our right to assembly. If they get 9 more of these, they automatically win. This gets reset. They go ahead and place that right there. Okay, so I do know they are going to be folding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one to move it up by 1. So it's right there. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or actually no, because I know they're going to be folding and it's going to be 5 either way. I'm going to go ahead and play this one. Move this up by 2. Okay. Then they're going to move it back 1. And then it's my turn, which I'm going to go ahead and play these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this moves down 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are on 13. I only have 3 rolled, so we don't have that. So that will go ahead and be right there. So we are neck and neck on this. That gets replaced. So I could come down here and play this one, which they do get, because I played after them. They will get another one. So individual support is not on my side, but I could play this one, get it 2 up, and then play this one and get it all the way up to here, which would come in really handy in the 80s. So I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to do that, which does get them another card. Oh, wait, it went up by 2. And then I'll play this one, which gets up by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which gets them another card. I don't get to buy anything. Urgh. Okay, that's okay. I'll focus on that this next round. I'll have to focus on that. But then I do get another round first. But before I go, they will go 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and grab our 5 cards. Wow, we have lots of 1s. No. But yeah, so first, demoralize 1 person. Do I have any 1s? Yeah, I do have a 1. So we will demoralize them. Oh, demoralize, not detain. Okay, so that's another random. So I'm losing the right to assembly. There are 2. So that was 1. This is 2. So I may return a retaliation dice, which I think I'm going to do so that way it doesn't move over 3, because that'll be pretty hard to recover from. So I'll move that one back. And that was their second one. So now this is going to be their third and final turn before me. And they're going to be their first turn. They're going to be just going back. So this moves over 3. So 1, 2, 3. It's really close. Thankfully, this is just going to move. If it was 35 or more, it would go up by 1. Okay, do I have any special things? So the only thing that I might want to do, except they're going to go first next time, I might want to just, okay, because I have 3, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to just, except then it would move that versus I'll just be able to move it by 1. Okay, but I can do this. So I can move this up by 2. So I can move the overton. Then I'll have 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 5. Well, what do I want to buy? Let's look at this. You may re-roll your dice pool. I kind of want this one, actually. Place a retaliation die on the man's market, which if I only use 2 cards to buy it, I could put it right on there and then I'd be able to get more retaliation dice out. So 1, 2. Although, if I move it up by 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I'd be able to get 5. So you know what, I think I'm going to just do this. Move that up by 1. And then next then I'll have 4 still. Okay, so now they're going to be retiring, so they're going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and play a 2, which will move this up by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I get to move this down by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It does make it so that they will play twice before I get to even play. Oh no, oh no, oh no. But it will make it so that we are one step closer. Oh wait, did I already do that? Did I already place this? I don't think I already placed this. So yes, I'm going to go and place that right there. I know I've already moved that down, so that can go back to there. I do have a 2, so if we can get the 80s and I could get some of these, that would be really awesome. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and buy cards. So I won't be able to put it right on top, but that's okay. I'm going to be shuffling this deck anyways. So, you know what? I think I'm just going to do Gay Liberation Front. Get me up on individual supports. If I can get that overtone down by a lot, then that would come in really handy. Okay, so then 1, 2, and okay. Let's see if I can beat the man. It'd be awesome if I could get that overtone window down to 1. If I could get this 7, it would get down to 1, and then I would win simply because this is above 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Please let me have gotten... I can move the overtone window down by 2, and that's the only special one. Okay, so they will go ahead and it will be their turn. So we'll go ahead and flip 1. If individual support is on the man side, it's not, then they would get to demoralize. Then they would get to detain one person. But the only problem is 1, 2, 3. So they're actually going to be detaining 2 people. So, oh my goodness, my my individual supports, and that means that at the end of this we will be going again, and they have the majority. Okay, ouch. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and move this up by 1. Oh wait, nope. Sorry, they get 1 more turn. Okay, so this is going to go down by 2. 1, 2. Actually, I think it was on starting space, so 1, 2. Owie. And no hands. Oh my goodness. No, that's not good. Okay, I'll go ahead and play this. So 1, 2, get it back to the starting. And then they're going to go again. Whoopsie daisy. 1, 2. They move this up by 2. Okay, you know what? I'm going to move this up by 2, and then this goes down by 2. Yay! Okay, and then they go. Okay, so they're going to be folding, and they're going to be turning the public space 1 more over. So, with that said, I can spend 4, or I could spend just 2 and just get 1 of these. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold, so that means I get to move 1 of these over. I'm going to move, yeah, I'm going to move this one over. I'm just going to try to focus on the overtone before they can demoralize. And then this will go on the top of my deck. Okay. They're not playing anymore, so we'll go ahead and discard those. However, this event happened, so we are now in the 80s, which means this gets placed right here. Hopefully that means that I'll be able to get some D6s pretty easily. So with that said, I knew that was going to happen, so actually, instead of buying that one, I would buy this one to put it on top, so that way I could get a dice fast. But they get to do an event. So, the 70s. Detain 4 people? Oh my goodness. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. You know what? I'll go ahead and do that. they can have... Nope, I want to be able to move the overtone window down. Oh no. Okay. But I am first player, so I get to go first. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will have that in my hand. So, with that said, I am going to go ahead and play it. So, 1, 2, 3. So, I will get a D6. So, I get to re-roll both of these. So, hopefully, I got 6, 7, 8, 9. Ah! We have the overtone on 8. I think that means I win. Let me double check. Yes, that means that I won because for the Pride player, I win if my dice pool, which is on 9 currently, ever exceeds the overtone window, which is currently on 8. So I could win on that. Ending the game wins with that. Or if they demoralize 10 people, which they had 2 demoralized, that would have been able to happen. And then they would have won. The LGBT movement would have been held back years. But I win, so LGBT plus rights are brought into focus and taken seriously, making more progress sooner than anyone could have expected. This may be optimistic, but yes, no matter who wins this game, the Pride movement ends up winning eventually. So we actually won before the 80s, so we are ahead of progress. But this is a cool game. I like the feel of it. At least as the Pride, I still don't think I would enjoy playing as the man because being against progress. But I do like this tug of war mechanisms, which this would have reset to this starting after I placed one of my event tokens on. But that seems to be a pretty easy, straightforward. Once you grasp the rules, seems to be pretty cool game. Of course, if you are playing a 2-player game, the man would also have their cards and their market board place. So they would have it organized just the same as Pride would. And then, of course, instead of it being these solo events, which there's only, 3 solo events, so 1 for each decade, you will have the same event. So if you play against, a solo opponent, your events are the same every time. It's probably made it so that it can be simplified, so that way there's not a ton of different events that you have to make decisions for, versus there's multiple. This is a fairly big stack of events that could happen. So you saw 1 event each, 1 from the Pride, 1 from the man, but we beat the man. Hallelujah. So yes, I do like it. I went a lot faster than I thought it would. I thought this would be a little bit more, but if you really focus on one thing, like I really focused on just moving this down, just focused in on that, then I was able to just get this down. Against the live opponents, as a 2-player, they might be like, okay, they are focusing way too hardcore on the individual supports. I'm going to have to focus on that. And then it becomes, a tighter, okay, I move it forward to, you move it back to, kind of like what this did that one turn with up and down and up and down. But I do like it. Looking forward to playing this again. If anyone wants to play as the man to help me get a 2-player game in, that would be appreciated. But you'd have to have a copy of the game to be able to play it remotely, unless you live in Ohio area. Then we can play in person. But thank you for watching this. Hopefully this gave you a good feel of the game. And until next time, just remember to have fun, be present, and be you. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. Also, if you find value in our content, please like, comment, or subscribe. Let a friend or family member know that we exist. Help us spread our channel and bring remote gaming to a table near you. Thank you very much, and have a great day.